Now, ladies and gentlemen, I might have your attention. We'll start the afternoon session. Okay, so our first speaker this afternoon is Mattie Dwane. Mattie's Procurement Director at Specialist Project Services Limited. For the past number of years, he's worked extensively as a procurement specialist with Alexion Pharmaceuticals. He's an expert in the procurement of capital equipment, procurement with significant experience in the pharmaceutical and biotechnology sectors of the economy. His specialities include strategic procurement, category management, negotiated procurement savings and dispute resolution. Mattie is a member of the leadership group of Lean Construction Ireland and has been influential in moving the organisation forward in recent times. Mattie is focused on the need to engender lean construction concepts into construction contracts. So today Mattie will explain some of the work of LCI, Lean Construction Ireland, and then focus on the main LCI initiative, which is Lean in Contracts. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Martin, thank you for that, and thanks for inviting me on behalf of LCI to come here today. I suppose I want to speak first of all briefly to introduce you all to Lean Construction Ireland, and then speak a little bit about one of our key initiatives, which is Lean in Contracts. I suppose the first Lean thing I want to do is be brief and try and get this schedule back on track. So that's the first thing we do. So technology is the next challenge. Okay. So as I said, that's just an overview of the slides. So Lean Construction Ireland, an introduction, who we are and what we do. So Lean Construction Ireland was established in March 2014, so it's just 4 years old now. Was established primarily from interested groups in the IT and the pharma industry and sectors, and has grown from there. The key objective of LCI has been promoting the adoption of lean thinking and practices to the Irish construction sector. We've done this through community events, monthly webinars, our LCI website, publishing articles, and growing our leadership group, which is the group of participating companies and bodies and organisations, so to more than 40 organisations at this stage. To date, LCI have hosted 13 community events. Cumulative attendance there is over 2,000 attendees. We've presented 15 online webinars, which are available on website. There's been over 500 people connecting in through those, and a lot of people then sharing and downloading them in addition to that. We've facilitated regional and local lean breakfast sessions and other educational sessions, and we've further redeveloped our website. So through all these communications then, we've seen the Irish construction sector start to recognise the value of adopting lean thinking and practices, and as a result the sector is looking to understand more about lean and how they can implement it, and implement that as part of their business processes and project delivery. So in response to the need, and as part of LCI's ongoing advancement, we're making a step change in the way we engage with and support the construction sector on their lean journey. So just to move on. Slide. So what we're proposing to do as Lean Construction Ireland over this year and next, so implementing a comprehensive calendar of events and activities throughout the country, webinars, breakfast meetings, community events, with a focus on the practical application of lean thinking and lean practices. Details of all those on the LCI website. We're looking to publish a book of lean case studies for Irish lean construction case studies. That's planned to be published in April. We're hosting a lean construction conference in Croke Park in November. And I think there's a very exciting agenda being put together for that. We're collaborating with state bodies, Enterprise Ireland, IDA, others to promote the lean agenda. We are collaborating with lean service providers to ensure that the Irish construction sector's lean requirements are supported by practitioners. So that's an important part of it. Details of a lot of practitioners are available on the website as well. So Lean Construction Ireland is planning to engage with the house building sector. I think that's a focus. So we've, to date, I suppose, been looking and working with large FDI companies, state bodies, academia and others, and looking to engage with the house building sector and the major infrastructure projects to promote lean thinking and practices and demonstrate the value that lean can bring. Lean Construction Ireland is also planning to further engage with the client organisations, both public and private, to promote lean thinking and practices and creating the opportunity to consider lean thinking and adoption early in the project initiation progress. So the next 12 to 24 months are key for the LCI to increase the engagement with the construction sector in Ireland, continue to promote the lean agenda and achieve the vision to deliver projects faster, better, faster, together. Okay. So that's an introduction to Lean Construction Ireland, and all the contact details are there, all through the website and various media for people that are interested. To move on then, I want to talk a little bit about Lean in Contracts, which is one of the initiatives that Lean Construction Ireland is working on. So Lean in Contracts was identified as a priority theme as part of Vision 2020, which was where all the constituent members of LCI got together and mapped out what Lean in Ireland would look like and how we wanted to get there in various ways. We broke that up into chunks, and Lean in Contracts was one. So I'm going to speak a little bit on that today. We identified as a priority team based on the constituent members of LCI recognising a need for contracts that enable and promote a lean approach, enable greater productivity, reduce disputes, waste, time overruns. They're more collaborative, less adversarial, and produce better project outcomes. So that's what it's all about for all parties. So for the contractors, for the client, for the engineering houses, for everybody. So it's to get better outcomes. So the sub-team that we formed for that Lean in Contracts group came from a cross-section, so from academia, members from engineering houses, from public sector, contractors and clients. The team, we examined the current state of Lean in Contracts and looked at what the desired future state would be for Lean in Contracts. Then we did a gap analysis on that and identified some near-term and longer-term actions to get us to what we saw as the future state. So I'll walk through that a little bit with you briefly. So the current state that we saw in 2017 when we sat down and did this exercise as really as a brainstorming session amongst a large group of people. So Lean is mentioned in some contracts. Those would be primarily private sector at that point in time. It's referred to rather than being a measure of performance. It's used in some pre-qualifications, primarily private sector again at that point in time. And we saw limited client knowledge of Lean and how it should be adopted, either in relation to pre-quals or in relation to contracts. And I suppose the overriding takeaway that we had there, that the clients are key, whether that client is private or public or whatever, the client is key in demanding Lean and driving Lean. So if the client will demand it and drive it, the industry will respond, the contractors will respond, the engineering houses will respond, and they will follow. So that's what we saw as the current state in 2017, or a snapshot of it anyway. This is an extract from the gap analysis we did, which was a lot more extensive, but I suppose three top themes that came out was contract model, how to measure, and to set goals. So we set out near-term, mid-term, and longer-term goals for that, evaluating the existing contracts, engaging with some legal people to look at what would be best practice, and all with a view to not producing a contract for use, but for looking at what's there and giving guidance and being able to point people in the direction of what is best practice, what will help you on your Lean journey. To measure, to look at some case studies of known collaborative projects, look at Lean scorecards, and we've looked at a number of those and what's available out there and what's good, and trying to pull the best from everything there, and looking as well at KPIs and what can be done and what can be utilised to drive the lean agenda to get better outcomes for everybody. Setting goals then, defining the desired outcomes, looking at contract terms that promote and enable lean. So those are the near-term actions that we're working on at the moment, looking then into getting input on the contract model from a wider section in due course, looking at the case studies that we're looking at and looking at the outcomes there to see how we measure and how they were measured and how we can benchmark them, and setting the goals as well to get our clients, get our supply chain expecting lean, getting that, and then driving on into the last section of that. We're able to point people in the direction of best practice. Lean is used as a measure of performance in contracts and in projects, and I suppose getting that leap of faith for clients to be able to set out from the initiation of a project on the lean journey, and that's a big one to get that. So that was an extract from our gap analysis. What we saw is our future state that we'd like to see lean as, so contracts that embrace lean thinking, principles and behaviours, that there's lean contracts that are proven in use in Ireland. There are lean contracts that are being used in Ireland. There's lean contracts proven in use elsewhere in the world. Every jurisdiction is different. So get lean contracts that are become the norm, are used and effective here in Ireland. Those contracts that promote collaboration, are non-adversarial, risk sharing, culture change. It's getting that mindset change and using contracts and lean in contracts as a measure of performance, and contracts that are relevant to the client, contractors and the subcontractors. So it's getting everybody all-inclusive on board to have a lean mindset and go on that lean journey together. So that was what we saw as our future state that we're working towards. So we're a little bit into that journey and where we've gotten to so far. So we've been evaluating the various contract models in use in Ireland and internationally, looking at their ability to incorporate lean, promote collaboration, risk sharing and culture change. We're looking at IFOA, RIA, FIDIC, the NEC4 Alliance contract that came out last year. So looking at all those. Looking at the various contract types, looked in public, FDI, commercial, local authority, home building. So there's lots of different contract types being used for various purposes and various projects. Discussing experience of lean in contracts with various projects in the UK and Ireland. And I think a lot of organisations in the UK have been very helpful to us. They've been a bit down this lean journey, and they're able to give us some good feedback on what's effective, what's not effective. I suppose we're onboarding additional team members to the work group from the wider LCI, and looking to move those gap analysis actions forward and put some additional momentum into that. And also then we're bringing a lean in contract stream in as one of the streams in the November conference. So we're looking to doing a lot of work on that and bringing that forward to November. So, and I think by the time November comes, this whole lean in contracts subgroup will have progressed a lot more, and I think there will be a lot of good stuff to talk about there. So that's, I think, an overview of LCI and a snapshot of what we're doing in lean in contracts to date and where we plan to head on that. So that's it from me. Hopefully I got you back on schedule a little bit anyway. Thanks very much, everybody.